RHONJ co-star validates rumors about Teresa Giudice. Changes are coming to the Real Housewives of New Jersey. What those changes are, no one seems to know for sure. One popular online theory is that the show will undergo a complete reboot like RHONJ did following season 13. Persistent rumors suggest Teresa Giudice is done with the Bravo show. One of her co-stars speaks out about the rumored exit and validates it. Keep reading for more. RHONJ co-star validates rumors about Teresa Giudice. Something is brewing in the Garden State. Andy Cohen sparked rumors of a mass cast purge on his radio show, but later walked it back. He clarified that Bravo execs want to reimagine the show in some way, but not necessarily fire everyone. But many fans feel it's almost certain that Teresa Giudice won't return to the show. The OG of RHONJ seemed to hint at her exit with a series of cryptic social media posts. The latest twist on the rumors surrounding her future on RHONJ claims she was asked to quietly leave the show rather than be outright fired. One of her co-stars, who has known Teresa for a long time, confirmed that he heard the same through the grapevine. I've heard the same speculation about Teresa being asked to leave, as opposed to being fired. Frank Catania said on a recent episode of the Lisa Elastui podcast. He added that it would be a shame if she left the popular Bravo show. Teresa, across all the franchises, is probably the most recognizable housewife in the world. Frank Catania supports some type of reboot. Frank Catania is the ex-husband of RHONJ star Dolores Catania. He grew up with Teresa Giudice and remains close to both her and his ex. Frank shared his thoughts on the podcast about the possibility of rebooting the New Jersey Housewives show. He said that the show can't continue the way it is now. You got a reality show where half the cast won't film together with the other half of the cast. How are you supposed to have a reality show? Speaks out about how Teresa has changed. Frank Catania has been friends with Teresa Giudice for a long time. But he said on the podcast that she has changed a lot, and he blames her husband, Luis Ruiz. She married Luis in 2022 after divorcing Joe Giudice in 2020. The air was thick with tension at Dolores Catania's charity gala, where the Real Housewives of New Jersey's most notorious group gathered under one roof. Teresa Giudice arrived fashionably late, her entrance as dramatic as the rumors swirling around her. Dressed in a dazzling emerald green gown that clung to her figure, Teresa commanded the attention of the room, but it wasn't just her outfit turning heads. Whispers had been circulating for weeks about Teresa's strained marriage to Luis Ruiz, and tonight, it seemed, someone was ready to fan the flames. The evening started innocently enough. Dolores had pulled out all the stops, hosting the event at an upscale venue in Montclair, complete with a string quartet, champagne fountains, and a silent auction benefiting a local animal shelter. Melissa Gorga, clad in a shimmering gold dress, exchanged pleasantries with Margaret Joseph, while Danielle Cabral and Rachel Fuda eyed the silent auction table. But beneath the surface, everyone knew this wasn't just a charity event. It was a stage for the next round of RHONJ drama. Margaret, never one to shy away from gossip, had been holding on to a piece of information she knew could shake the foundation of Teresa's carefully constructed narrative. She sipped her champagne, watching Teresa glide through the crowd. "It's only a matter of time," Margaret murmured to Jennifer Aiden, who was already on her third glass of rosé. Jennifer leaned in, her eyes gleaming with curiosity. "Are you going to drop the bomb tonight?" she whispered, her tone dripping with anticipation. Margaret smirked. "Let's just say I'm not leaving this party without addressing the elephant in the room." As the night progressed, the tension became palpable. Louis, ever the doting husband, stayed close to Teresa, occasionally placing a protective hand on her back. But the usually unshakable Teresa seemed distracted, her eyes darting across the room as if she sensed the impending storm. It was during Dolores's heartfelt speech about the importance of rescuing animals that Margaret made her move. Standing near the edge of the room, she locked eyes with Melissa, who gave a subtle nod. The alliance between the two women had been shaky at best, but tonight they shared a common goal: the truth. When Dolores finished her speech, Margaret seized the opportunity. She clinked her glass to grab everyone's attention. "I'd like to propose a toast," she began, her voice steady but filled with intent. "To Dolores for her unwavering commitment to making the world a better place. You truly inspire us all." Applause filled the room, but it quickly died down as Margaret's tone shifted. "And while we're on the topic of truth and transparency," she said, her eyes now fixed on Teresa, "I think it's time we address some of the rumors that have been circulating." The room fell silent. Teresa's jaw tightened, her hands gripping the stem of her wine glass. "What are you trying to say, Margaret?" she asked, her voice icy. Margaret took a step forward, unflinching. "I'm saying that the whispers about Louis's business dealings and the pressure it's putting on your marriage aren't just rumors. They're facts." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Louis's face turned red as he opened his mouth to respond, but Teresa was quicker. "You don't know what you're talking about," she snapped, her voice rising. "Stay out of my business, Margaret." Margaret held her ground. "Oh, but it is my business when you parade around acting like everything is perfect, while the rest of us are left dealing with the fallout of your actions. People are talking, Teresa, and they're saying your fairy tale is crumbling." Jennifer Aiden, ever the loyal defender of Teresa, stepped in. "This isn't the time or place for this, Margaret. You're just jealous because Teresa's living her best life, and you can't stand it." Melissa, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke up. "Maybe Margaret has a point. We all know there's been tension. Teresa, you've been different lately. Distant. If something's going on, why not just be honest?" Teresa's eyes darted to Melissa, betrayal flashing across her face. "Of course you take her side. You've been waiting for this moment, haven't you?" Louis finally stepped in, his voice calm but firm. "This is ridiculous. Our marriage is fine. Better than fine. And anyone who says otherwise is just trying to stir up drama." Dolores, sensing the situation spiraling out of control, tried to mediate. "All right, everyone, let's not ruin a beautiful evening with unnecessary drama. Margaret, if you have something to say, maybe you should take it up with Teresa privately." But the damage was done. Teresa's face was a mask of fury as she turned on her heel and stormed out, Louis following close behind. The remaining guests exchanged uneasy glances, the atmosphere now charged with awkwardness. As the night wound down, Margaret and Melissa shared a quiet moment by the bar. "Do you think I went too far?" Margaret asked, her voice tinged with regret. Melissa sighed. "Maybe. But sometimes the truth needs to come out, no matter how messy it gets." Outside, Teresa and Louis sat in their car, the silence between them deafening. Finally, Teresa spoke. "Do you think people believe her?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Louis reached for her hand. "It doesn't matter what they believe. What matters is us. We'll get through this, Teresa. Together." But as Teresa stared out the window, her reflection staring back at her, she couldn't shake the feeling that Margaret's words had struck a nerve. And deep down, she wondered if the cracks in her fairy tale were larger than she was willing to admit.